I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of
Monday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of
Tuesday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to extend.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all
Monday,
about,
happy days.
it's just one of
Tuesday,
those,
happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to extend. These days,
Feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep your distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
And my day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 214 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. Yeah, I know, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been far too long, I think. It kind of reminds me of that one time after I did the 87th episode of the Mood of the Nation podcast. I was away for a month, didn't make any more content, any videos or anything like that at all. At that point, I decided, you know what? I'm going to focus on other things, then focus on the PA camp that was going on at the time. And then I would come back all completely refreshed after that, which I guess that would be the case for what happened here, because I looked at the stream date for the last episode, which was 213, of course, and that streamed on the 5th of September. So this was about almost exactly a full month ago. So yes, I apologize. There hasn't been any more Mood of the Nation content or even other posts from Telegram or X for that matter. I'm going to be 100% honest with everyone here who's watching just now. There's two main factors to this, right? Why I was gone for about almost a full month. Well, pretty much like a month at this point, really. The reasons, well, two reasons really is that one, I've just been really busy with work, even though I've said that in the past with the previous shorter breaks, I would say. But that's one of the reasons why I haven't really been posting any more Mood of the Nation episodes, is because I've just been really busy with work. And the second reason for this is, and I'll be honest, right, I was just really tired and exhausted. I kind of looked at that and thought maybe it's time to kind of give the show a little bit of another break here, just so that I can go away for a while. And then once I'm back completely refreshed and fit and all of that, be able to make more content, especially with more episodes of Mood of the Nation. Now, saying that, I don't think there's really going to be much stuff to talk about tonight, considering the fact that, yes, I understand that a lot of stuff has happened over the past month, but I think I might want to save that for the next episode, because right now, I definitely want to spend my time talking with you lot, with the audience members, even though there's about 7 people watching, I think maybe 8 people that were watching it, but, you know, hey-ho, I did shared it on Telegram, but is there anyway when it comes to that? I'm sure more people will watch it after it's live or whatever. Maybe people are just busy at the moment. And I think even I normally stream on a Thursday, but that's going to be a bit of a tricky situation there. Now, what I have noticed the past few weeks, I have actually been off mainly on a Wednesday. Now, I could stream on a Wednesday, but again, there's another big problem. Mark normally streams on a Wednesday, around about 7 p.m. Now, I know people might think, well, what's the problem with that? Surely you could stream, prior to that, either 5 p.m. or even 6 p.m. UK time. And yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I could easily do that, but I wasn't entirely too sure when it came to that. Maybe I never really thought of it that way, but maybe in the next episode, I'm sure the next episode will definitely be next week. I'm definitely going to be streaming next week for episode 215. And if I'm off on Wednesday, then screw it. I might as well just go live on Wednesday prior to Mark going live with PWR. It's actually kind of interesting when it came to this past week's episode of PWR when Mike Penovich was live as a guest. And in that episode, he talks about how, people, whether they're genuine or trolls or whatever, want them to make more content, more videos and more live streams, etc., etc. But then Mike pretty much puts it like this: is like, look, what do you want me to do exactly? What do you want me to work a 9 to 5 and then come back and then do a stream kind of thing? I think it was more in reference to like donations or that type of thing. How people like Mike Penovich, they're not allowed to make donations and blah blah blah. It's like, well, Mike does have a bit of a point. I mean, what I'm doing right now is pretty much giving up partly my free time so that I can actually make a show for you guys. But that again, that's out of my own volition because that's something I generally want to do. And when it comes to the donation thing, look, I posted it just there, the PayPal link. It's entirely optional if you want to send a donation here or there, but it's there regardless when it comes to that. But and even then, I've said this on the show before that, look, I know there's a chance that I'm not going to get any donations, but you know what? That's completely fine. I'm not bothered by that whatsoever. I'm not, as I said in the past before, I'm not going to lose any sleep or anything like that at all. After all, I do have a job. Contrary to popular belief by some nationalists in the movement, which I don't know if I might want to get into that, but I mean, let's just say there's been quite a few things that's been said when it comes to certain people within a group. I'll say that much at the moment. But anyways, before we go any further, let me have a check and see who's in the chat just now. So we got Ugly Truth, Public Address News. How you doing? In fact, speaking of, I'll actually get to the story in a minute here with Public Address News because we recently did a banner drop with a brand new banner for PA Scotland, which I was really chuffed by. Had a bit of a help with the lads over at the PA Northwest so in terms of getting the new banner, but we got a new banner, and I'm sure people have seen the posts already on Telegram, maybe X or Twitter. I'm not too sure, but it's the new banner we have here in PA Scotland called Scotland for the Scots. Now, originally it was meant to be a banner that read, of course, White Lives Matter or something to that effect, but we thought, no, if we're going to have a new banner specifically for PA Scotland, let's make it a banner I believe many people here in Scotland would actually get behind, whether they know the context or not. And that would be, of course, Scotland for the Scots. I mean, because who would completely disagree with that notion, right? So myself and my colleague, Public Address News, who I'm sure you've all watched his videos on YouTube, which definitely give him a subscription or follow if you can. That would be really appreciated. But he and I went out to Glasgow. No, it wasn't last week because I was attending a friend's wedding at that point. I think it was maybe the week prior, which would have been the 24th of September. But we went to Glasgow. We did a banner drop over at the M8 bridge. Now, that was meant to be the original plan, of course. The original plan was to do a banner drop, take photographs and videos for, of course, the Telegram pages and whatnot of us holding up a banner or putting over the banner, over the railings, the Scotland for the Scots banner. And we were there for a few minutes. We did try and take some footage and photographs and whatnot, but maybe it's because of the amount of trees or anything like that was nearby. We just couldn't get the good shots for it, which is a shame because it would have been really good to see photographs and videos of that. I think we took some photographs, but like from different. Well, the banner was somewhere else in that same area type of idea. So then we were thinking, right, we didn't get that. Well, what else can we possibly do? And then we thought, well, fuck it. Why don't we just go around Glasgow and just do banner drops all over the place? Which would have been a risky move, considering that was also at a time when it was the football's on, and it's a football game with Celtic against Falkirk FC. So we thought, you know what, we might as well. Why not? I mean, it might. it might it might be a bit of like bad time or whatnot, but you know what? What's the worst thing that's going to happen, right? So, not only did we do a banner drop over at the M8 Bridge, but we did a banner drop over in George Square, which of course there's like tons of people all over the place, right? There's like tons of restaurants and fast food joints, and you know they've got the Queen Street station just close by, pubs and all of that. You name it. It's like the I don't know if it's, people would say it's like the, what's it called, the epicenter of Glasgow. It's like the place that gets people come together type of idea. It's the place you would normally see a lot of protests going around in Glasgow, you know, either side kind of thing. So we did a banner drop there, and yeah, thankfully nothing happened. Nothing bad happened, at least. But we did do a banner drop there, and there was tons of people all around them, and I was just like, I think we're risking something here. But no, nothing bad happened, thankfully. So then once we'd done that, we thought, well, where else could we do a banner drop? We did that. We got video, we got photographs of this, which was great. So where else could we do a banner drop? And then I thought, well, why not in Glasgow Green, which is the big park area in Glasgow? And there was a couple of locations we took photographs of and banners for or photographs and videos, sorry, for the banner. And what we've noticed throughout our time is that we actually did get a bit of support with the banner, and so why people, of course, agreed with us, except for maybe one person. And it's actually, funnily enough, towards the end of the banner dropping we were doing. One person, I guess, looked at the banner that read, of course, Scotland for the Scots. And I guess my colleague, Public Address News, I believe heard the guy. And I think he said something along the lines of scumbags or something like that, and just continued on walking. So I guess that person is a staunch globalist, supports the idea of bringing in a bunch of third worlders as, like, you know, cheap labor type of thing, and taking over Scottish jobs and all of that, replacing the Scottish population. Yeah, there, no surprise there when it comes to that. So we had one detractor over many other supporters when it comes to our banner, which was fantastic. So it was great to see that we actually did, for once in a long while, did a banner drop for PA Scotland. Of course, that's not going to be the only time. We're planning on doing more banner drops in the near future. I haven't thought about where exactly to do another banner drop, but the idea is definitely there. We definitely want to do more banner drops for PA Scotland, and we hope to do that all across the country, of course, not just in Glasgow, or even say like the overall Central Belt in Scotland. In fact, let me see if I can actually get the post up for PA Scotland. I'm going to see if I can find the official Patriotic Alternative Telegram page, and then we'll have a look at that together. And I was really chuffed with that, because again, as I said, the original plan was just to do a banner drop for the M8 Bridge. But we thought, you know what, we didn't. It was good, but it didn't really go as planned. So we thought, well, why don't we actually do banner drops all across, you know, Glasgow after that? And we did. So let me see if maybe it'd be best if I find it on my Telegram page. Hold on a minute. Now this would have been almost 2 weeks ago, I think. That would have been deleted. Damn it. Right, one sec. Sorry, folks. Yeah, it'll be this one here. Right. So yeah, it's been a while. I hope everyone in the chat has been doing well. It has been a long while, but trust me, folks, it's been about almost a full month, and I do feel a lot more refreshed after doing that. So there will be more episodes coming on a weekly basis, or at least I'll try and make it a weekly basis. It just depends on when I'm off, and I'm going to try my best to see if I can actually let you guys know in advance on whether or not if I can make it or not. But yeah, so more episodes are coming. I'll definitely say that. So definitely keep your eyes out for that in the near future. And speaking of which, I've managed to find the post in question. Oh yeah, sorry, who else is in the chat? There's 13 people watching now, which is really good to see. Streaky Bacon's with us. Miss Tuesday, I think, just popped on. Thank you very much. Evening Chief and everyone in the chat. Hope you are all well. Same to yourself, Miss Tuesday. Thank you very much for watching. Also, inshallah, Streaky Bacon. How can I forget to say that to you, sir? Anyways, let me just quickly share the screen, and then we'll have a look at the banner drop together. Let me see. Share out system audio just in case. Yes. Right. It should pop up here. Yes. Right. So, first photograph, of course, this was in Glasgow. Oh no, sorry. So yeah, the event itself, the banner dropping was on Sunday the 22nd. Wait, would that be so? Yeah, it would be. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, 22nd of September. There's me. It's like I was kind of noticing that we didn't really have enough wires or any what are they called? Cable ties to wrap around the bottom part of the banner. So I thought I would try and walk over to the other side, as I don't think it's been posted, but walked over to the other side just to get this corner bit down. But there we go. There's me again. This is oh yeah. So the previous two photographs were in Glasgow Green, which again, a public area, of course, a lot of people walking there. Here we are doing the banner drop within the George Square. Of course, tons of people there as well.
And here we're at.
This is the first video. Again, this was in George Square. So again, there's evidence to show that there's tons of people there.
President Square on 22nd of September 2024, and we've got the usual tours going about the square. We've got folk, Scottish people out enjoying their day off, and we've got foreigners walking about, tourists and others that have came here. So here we are, Scotland for the Scots, from patrioticalternative.org.uk. And here we have the Chief.
How you doing, folks?
Chief Moody, would you like to say a few words about Banner Parade, Sunday 22nd of September? Sir.
Yeah, of course. So we're just out and about doing a banner drop. We just had one up the M8 bridge.
God almighty. I'm sorry to pause it there, but the hair and the beard. I mean, I'm sure you can all see that I have got a haircut and I trimmed my beard. That was because, as I said earlier on, I was attending a friend's wedding, so I thought I would try at least try to look presentable. But you can clearly see the key difference. Like it's like night and day almost. But anyways,
Which I mean, well, we got a video. I think we didn't get any photographs, but we did try. So, but we thought we'd come to George Square to put up the banner. So, and yeah, hopefully we're going to be doing another banner drop in Glasgow Green, I think it was.
Right.
So we're going to be doing that, and yeah, just out and about doing banner drops all across Glasgow. So yeah, if you like what you see, then do support Patriotic Alternative. Become a member within Patriotic Alternative Scotland. You can even see the website down there. So of course, get in touch and join the PA. So yeah, thank you very much.
Join the PA. Thank you, sir.
God, I'm like, it's weird, right? I normally do live streams, but when it comes to unplanned videos like this, it's just so. I come off as like so awkward because it's like it's very on the fly, or not very on the fly. It's very in the moment type of idea. But I mean, it can't be helped, can it? But right, so that's the first video. Let's have a look at the second. Oh yeah, right. So this is the video technically the first video we did. This was at the M8 bridge. Now. Yeah, I'll show you guys actually just now, so it's not too long.
We have a banner drop, M8 motorway. just before Townhead Street, and over we go.
So yeah, so with this, I wish Public Address News did record it maybe a bit longer, but the fact of the matter is that the banner was dropped. Well, not dropped. Sorry, the banner we did there was over the railings. It was attached onto the railings, of course. There were a few people in their cars tooting their horns, showing support for the banner, which was really good to see. So that was that, and then there's the third and last video, which of course would be in Glasgow Green. Let's have a look at this.
That's up for Public Address News. Could you tell me what's all this about, please?
Well, we're just doing a banner drop for Scotland for the Scots.
Scotland for the Scots.
Yep, by Patriotic Alternative.
Right, Patriotic Alternative.
Yep. Just out in Glasgow Green. Again, just doing another banner drop here in the city centre of Glasgow. And yeah, so far it's been so good. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
No worries.
It's like I'm so awkward. But hey, anyways, there we go. Let's see. Let me get back onto the screen here. There we go. He did fine, Chief. I try. Okay, so let's see. Chief gets off his arse and gets out there. That's what matters. Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah. Well, saying that, should I maybe talk about this? I don't know, because I don't want to start any drama or anything like that at all, or the idea of, punching right or whatever. But like I said at the start of the stream, there have been a couple of things that, well, technically I did somewhat started that, even though I didn't mean it in bad faith or anything like that at all, or trying to be antagonistic. I was just saying my piece and I was just being honest about that. So, all right. But before I continue on, let me have a quick look at the chat. Love you all, buildings. Well done on the banner dropping, lads. No worries. Again, that's not going to be the only time we'll do that. We're planning on doing more banner drops in the near future. In fact, we're actually thinking about maybe doing. Oh, I was thinking about doing a banner drop maybe this month, but I'm not entirely too sure when exactly. So, yeah, we'll definitely need to come back on that. Your sound, you look okay, fella. Chief will be hosting the Oscars next. I highly doubt that, dude. I highly doubt that. Right, where to start? Okay, so I really don't know if I definitely should talk about this, considering the fact, like I said just now. Sorry, excuse me. I don't want to cause any drama or anything like that at all, despite the fact there was a bit of arguments back and forth on X or Twitter. If you follow me on that platform, you probably already seen it by now. Maybe you haven't, but I'm not entirely too sure. But right, basically, it's all to do with the Homeland conference that they held this past weekend? Yeah, it was this past Saturday they did it. Now, saying that, I know there's going to be people in the chat going to be saying like, "Oh no, like Moody, be careful. You don't want to start any drama or anything like that." Or talk. Look, I'm not wanting to start anything. I'm just being, as I did with the X post or Twitter post. I'm just being completely honest when it comes to it, right? And I'll even say this before I get to my opinion, and then the aftermath of what happened after that. I will be honest with everybody here, right? Despite everything that has happened, despite everything that's been said during the split and all of that with PA and some of the people who left to form the Homeland Party, right? I still do, in a way, believe this, at least with some members of the Homeland Party. I wish nothing but the very best for them, and I wish that everything works well at the end. Now, even though when they had their events happening, such as it was the Homeland camp they held. I believe it was last year and the one they did again this year. And of course, I believe this year would have been their first conference they did. I don't know if they did one last year, but it was meant to be like a totally different thing. But despite everything that's been said and done and all of that, I was hoping that there'd be at least some success into it. I truly do mean that. I truly do mean the fact that there would be some success when it comes to their events, especially the conferences that either they've held or they're going to be held in the near future. Despite again everything's been said and done and all of that, and of course me being a regional organizer for PA Scotland, I'm still with PA. I'm still going to stay with PA regardless. What I have seen this past weekend, however, in terms of the aftermath of I'll say this right. And I've always been told, and I've always heard about in terms of a nationalist group or organization wanting to do their own conference in, say, a certain area or whatnot, and in terms of the advertising it online and all of that. I've always been told, like, you never go out in public with it because that's opening up Pandora's box, and that means that the Reds will be there on site, doing all kinds of mayhem and whatnot. Well, the Homeland Party did just that. They advertised their event to the general public so that, of course, they get more bums and seats. The old saying when it comes to that. And of course, I'm sure we've all seen what happened afterwards. The Reds turned up. More and more of them turned up when it comes to that. I believe certain groups turned up, like Red Flare, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Hope Not Hate maybe showed up in terms of the photographers and whatnot. And from what I've heard, there's been photographs taken, there's videos that've been taken of the people that participate in the conference and whatnot. What I've seen this past Saturday is a prime example of what not to do in terms of advertising for a conference like that. Now, there's nothing wrong with starting up a conference or anything like that whatsoever. I just think when you're opening up to if you're a nationalist group or organization or party or whatever, and you're wanting to do a conference and you're advertising it to the mass general public, that's a recipe for disaster. And we've seen what happened with that. Now, I know there's going to be people saying, like, but it was a success and whatnot. Look, I'm sure in the moment there's a lot of people looking at this and think that, yeah, it was seen pretty successful, and a lot of people were happy, they're celebrating and whatnot. Yeah, and I get that. But the problem is when it comes to that is the aftermath, because as I just said, from what I've heard, there's been photographs taken, there's video footage taken. It's going to come back to bite them in the arse. So while they're celebrating at this point, there's a point they're going to get doxxed. And that's something that I really hope doesn't happen. I really hope not. At the same time, when it comes to these types of groups, Red Flare and whatnot, they can be very, very malicious or very vicious, or whatever the word would be in this case. Hello, Joe. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. And Run Rig Rocket to the Moon. How you doing? Chaz Smash. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So, I wrote this on X, and of course there was people. I think it was actually from a retweet from Jerome. I believe the regional organizer for Homeland Wales, if I'm not mistaken, or something important within Homeland. But anyways, that's beside the point. Because he did a video on X, dancing in some kind of strange way when this whole thing happened, and of course that's when I did my retweet. So then after that, I've seen a lot of people from PA, not significant members, mind you, but some members I believe were either members of PA or PA supporters, and then people and members or supporters of the Homeland Party, basically kind of talking or arguing and whatnot on X. And it just kind of like snowballed from there, because from what I've heard and seen of the Homeland Conference, I just kind of tend to think, well, if you're supposed to be this type of group or organization or party or whatever, why would you then go to such a length to be, to do this and to say that? the most important one aspect that kind of rubs me the wrong way when it comes to the Homeland Party. And again, this is all just my opinion. You can take it or leave it when it comes to that, right? Woodlander, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the Mood of the Nation. One of the many things that does annoy me about the Homeland Party is that it's the idea of optics, right? So, and by the way, this isn't just like Homeland Party thing. This has been going on since when they were part of PA Scotland at the time. But this idea of optics, like you have to be optical for the movement, you have to make yourself look presentable and good, and not just in front of the media, but in front of the general public also. Well, there seems to be, from what I've seen, a bit of utter hypocrisy from that law. For instance, Steve Laws, right? Now, before I go any further, and again, don't take this the wrong way, but I like Steve Laws. Steve Laws has done a lot of good things for the movement. He's done a lot of great stuff. Sure, some of his takes on X have been pretty spicy, but again, they do speak the truth to power when it comes to that. And he did a fantastic job with the debate he had with Lawrence Fox. It was so fantastic that he pretty much exposed Lawrence Fox for the fraudster that he is, because Lawrence Fox is the same guy, and please correct me if I'm wrong for saying this, but Lawrence Fox is the guy, when asked, if Britain were to become a 90 or 95% black majority country, would you be fine with that? And of course, Lawrence Fox said yes. Now, I don't know if that might be the accurate description of what he said, or even like to properly quote him exactly, or maybe I'm paraphrasing, but again, the whole point of that debate, Steve Laws made a lot of good points and exposed Lawrence Fox, for the fraudster that he is. Now, the reason why I'm saying is because that Steve Laws, again, does a lot of good talking points and all of that. Some of them can be pretty spicy, I will be honest when it comes to that. Now, for the Homeland Party, who are all about optics, why would they have someone like Steve Laws on board? Again, there's nothing wrong with Steve Laws being a member or anything with that at all. I'm not saying that. Again, this is coming from the perspective of if the Homeland Party tries to present themselves in such a way, why then would they completely contradict themselves when they have this person who you can make the argument kind of breaks all kinds of optics, from their perspective. Another thing too in this case is the fact that they've spoken to civic nationalists. Now, they went on, again, from what I've noticed recently, they went on the Lotus Eaters podcast. Now, I don't think it was actually the podcast itself, but it was one of those premium episodes from the Lotus Eaters that, again, you have to pay a subscription or to watch that particular video. But again, the fact still remains, like, just why would you go on to a show or do a video or anything like that at all with a group of people that you've mocked and criticized in the past? So again, same thing when it comes to one of their guest speakers. I believe that one of them was a member of the AfD, the German Populist Party. And again, from what I've been told about the AfD is that, and at the time, I genuinely thought that the AfD were pretty base until actually, been told and actually doing my own research. And it turns out that the leader of the AfD, in fact, I should have it on my notes just in case, but I believe the leader of the AfD is a lesbian and is dating or marrying a mixed race woman, if I'm not mistaken. AfD, wait a minute. Let me just maybe it's not the wait a minute. Right, so maybe she's one of the leaders, because I got here, right, so the Alternative for Germany, so that's the party there, right, AfD. Alice Weidel, I was German, so apologies for the mispronunciation, but I believe if I can have the notes here. Yeah, domestic partner Sarah Bossard, children 2 adopted. So It's again, they're supposed to be, well, they claim to be an ethno-nationalist group, and about rights for whites and all of that. Why then would you associate with civic nationalists then? I don't really understand that. I really don't. So all of this, back and forth and all of that, how I was accused of being disingenuous and all of that, and of course, Cy, who I'm sure you all remember, Simon Crane or Cyborg, whatever name he wants to go by nowadays. He used to be a guest on the show. He used to be the regional organizer for PA Scotland and all of that. He decided to throw his hat in the ring, if you will, and accusing me of all kinds of things, which I was quite flabbergasted by. Well, saying that, it was something that was kind of that was brought up again, that I didn't think he would actually bring up for the second time. So let me give you a bit of a backstory, right, as to say the Erskine demonstrations, right. So this would have been after the split that happened with Patriotic Alternative and again the folks who formed or went on to form the Homeland Party. So after everything that happened, there was then this question of, well, what's going to happen with the Erskine demonstration? And it was still going, thankfully, even though they were going to be taking it over. But I believe I was not invited, but I was welcome to come along, sort of idea. Or I'm not sure. All I know is that I was intended on going, regardless. And even I've said this in the past, but I'll say it just for context here, right? Again, despite everything that's been said and done and all of that on Telegram or in person or anything like that at all, I was willing to work with them and willing to be cordial. I was actually trying to be cool with them, try to be friendly as I possibly can, and we were definitely friendly with each other when we got there. And then afterwards, so I took some photographs of the banners, the the site of the hotel of where the migrants were going to be placing for the time being, as you would normally do if you were going to a demonstration like this, whether you're part of a group or if it's a case of you're doing it as an independent type of a nationalist. But I decided, I'm going to go there representing as Patriotic Alternative, as the new regional organizer for PA Scotland. And the guys I was there, speaking to again, who are now with the Homeland Party or the group at the time, they seemed fine with it. We were getting along fine. There was no any animosity or anything like that at all. We were all fine. There was nothing to suggest that there may be some kind of like tension in the air. There was nothing like that. It just seemed like it was a normal Sunday demonstration as we normally did. As if like the split had never happened. That is until when I got back home, I uploaded the photographs. Right, I wrote a little post about the event itself and that day for PA Scotland, and this was for the main Patriotic Alternative Telegram official page. And the backlash from that was just unbelievable. I just couldn't believe it. Even some comments that were from people who, I'm not going to name any names or anything like that at all, but they know damn well who they are. Some of the people who made comments, in the most passive aggressive way possible, which I couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe that they would go to such a length to just in the most pathetic way possible. Like they were basically spazzing out over photographs. Like I was thinking, like they do realize that, right? And again, this is another pet peeve of mine with them is that I just also want to make a point real quick. By the way, I may have already said this on the show or even past episodes, but I don't have a problem with every single member within the Homeland Party. I'm sure there are members in the Homeland Party who are genuinely good people and they think that Homeland is the party or is the way moving forward, and that I've got no problem with, right? But there have been or are some members within Homeland who have been very vocal, and those people I believe deserve to be called out, in my humble opinion. So, what was the other thing I was going to mention? I lost a train of thought. But that whole thing happened, and I was just more like in awe about that. I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, so now we've jumped towards now, the current time. So then Sai throws his hat in the ring, calls me. In fact, actually, I got the tweet here. So I'm just going to see if I can get this up here in a moment and then see what's actually being said. Sorry, just bear with me just a moment here, folks. Because God forbid if I do, or if I accidentally misquote him or anything like that at all. Right. So here's Simon Crane. Here's his tweet, what he wrote. And this is all on X, by the way. You can go onto my X account or whatever. You can go on to tweets or retweets or whatever, and you'll see these, right? So this is what he wrote. He says, and this is directed towards me, by the way. He says, he's a snake who took food off me at Erskine the last time I saw him, whilst taking sly pics to make it look like they were organizing the demo. Be gone back to Fed posting on Telegram. To which I responded to him by saying this, right? This is my response. Firstly, Sai, from what I can remember from that day, you gave me what was left from the food and drink served to the public, which is true. Because during the Erskine demonstration, there was a point where we decided, well, we as in Sai and the lot decided to serve food and drink to the Erskine community, which was a great idea because obviously it's a Sunday, it's meant to be a day of rest and whatnot. A lot of people tend to be off work for that day. Well, if they're lucky, of course, when it comes to that. But of course, they would serve them food and drink, or tea, coffee, or anything like that at all. Which again is a great idea. And there'd be times where there'd be somewhat leftovers, and if people were wanting them, then I think Sai, maybe someone else would be like, does anyone want these? And blah blah blah. So that day specifically, I believe it was Sai who went around asking people, "Oh, there's leftovers. Does anyone want them?" Some people took some things, but no one really was up for it type of thing. And then, of course, he came to ask me if I wanted some of the stuff of the leftovers. Now, I can't remember exactly what he gave me, but it was that sense when it comes to that. It was definitely that case from what I can remember. So that was the first point. To continue on with my tweet. Second, I can't believe you're still butthurt over me taking photos at a demonstration. You realize you come off as petty, right? Which, yeah, it's true. Because again, he's bringing up something that happened a year and a half ago. Which I can't believe that. These are the same people that claim to be the future of British nationalism, and they're meant to be doing real politics, and they're meant to be doing the serious heavy lifting and whatnot. And look at them all. Excuse me. And yet, as soon as I make a post for the official PA Telegram channel, they all just start losing their fucking minds. I mean, talk about first world fucking problems, folks. And the fact that he's bringing this up a year and a half later just goes to show just how fucking petty and spiteful that he can really be. And maybe some of his ilk are. It's beyond pathetic. The last thing I wrote was, lastly, what Fed posting have I made on my Telegram page? Could you give me some examples, please? Which he never did, because that was quite news to me. I'm like, ooh, Fed posting. So what exactly have I said or done on my Telegram page that would be considered Fed posting? Now, this wasn't what he said exactly, but from what I've been told from other people, apparently, and again, I'm not saying this is the case. I'm not too sure if this is genuine or this is real or anything like that at all. This is all allegedly, right? Allegedly, if you were to speak to them directly or indirectly and bring up something like the JQ, which we all know exactly what the JQ is, apparently you get blocked and then being accused of being a Fed poster. So apparently now, if you're a nationalist, if you're talking about the JQ, whether or not if you meant it in a genuine matter or if you're being jovial or anything like that at all, then apparently you're a Fed poster. So they're basically, if this is true, I'd say, again, this is all alleged, just want to make that perfectly clear. If this is all genuinely true, they're basically going towards the Jason Cohn route, right? Which again, if it's true, that's something that they've also mocked and criticized Jason for doing, because Jason Cohn, look, whether you like him or not, he is someone who is very, again, somewhat optics driven. Also, like, oh, don't talk about the Jews, don't talk about the JQ and whatnot. You can talk about white well-being and all of that. That's completely fine, but just don't bring up the Jews, right? It's like, well, why? Why can't we talk about that? I mean, look, no one here is saying that they're primarily the problem, but in terms of, if you look at past events, if you look at what's going on just now, if you look at the people behind certain things and whatnot, certain industries and all of that, you have to bring it up. I'm sorry, but that is the case. I mean, you can try and act like, oh, well, that's not it whatsoever. Well, I'm sorry, but there comes a point you have to bring it up. You have to bring it up. I'm sorry. So that was my response to that. And he responded back with another tweet. Let's see if I can actually find it. Wait a minute. Where was it? Oh yeah, so here's his. So I retweeted his tweet about this, and that was my post about that. And then he responds with this: I gave you as you were pleading poverty. Simple fact is, you put being an East celeb before your comrades, right? So let's address that first point, shall we? In terms of the the pleading poverty, right? So two things to that. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about, considering the fact that if memory serves me well, I believe I was starting a new job at the time. I think it was something about like I was a hygiene. I think I've even told Sai this, because I think he was asking how are you doing and all of that. I've told him that I'm starting a new job. Can't remember where exactly, but it was something like cleaning or hygiene operative or something to that effect. And I believe I've told them this, like exactly like where the place was, and the job itself and what I'm meant to be doing, type of thing. I believe I've told them this, and at the point and at that time, I've just started working at this place. And in terms of pleading, like, when if I pled for like food and whatnot, for the Erskine demonstration, I'm pretty sure I had money in my wallet or account or whatever, so I would have no problem of purchasing something or anything like that at all. So I don't know where exactly he's coming from with this. Now, the last point he made, and this one, I'll be honest, right? I got pissed off when he wrote this part within his tweet, because, and I'll get to that in a moment, right? So he writes, simple fact is, you put being an e-celeb before your comrades, right? This is something I want to address as well, because there actually have been people within PA whenever I do meetups, well, for demonstrations and whatnot, or even for like conferences. That's right. And I think even also for the PA summer camp as well. Sorry, let me just turn up the brightness here. It's getting a little bit dark. There we go. Right, perfect. So yeah, there have been people within PA even asking me, oh, Moody, it's great that you're here, but what made you want to stay to begin with, considering that the majority of the lads from PA Scotland pretty much left and went over to the homeland? And I've said this to them, and I'll say it here for the show. My only reason is for staying with PA is because that I believe PA not only is the future of British nationalism, the proper future of British nationalism, but in terms of splitting off different groups and whatnot, not only do I believe that it confuses the general public, because we all know that the Overton window is shifting, and I think the people within Britain genuinely want an alternative. They really want to have that political group or party to really speak for the people and actually take a stand against the establishment. Fuck, I lost my train of thought there again. Sorry. What was I going to say? Yeah, so having multiple nationalist groups with similar to almost carbon copy policies and whatnot, that's not only going to confuse the general public, but it just makes nationalism look incredibly weak. And this idea that I decide to stay to be an e-celeb, look, again, I know people in the chat are going to be like complimentary, not like, oh, but Moody, you're pretty decent, like e-celeb and whatnot. Look, I'm going to be honest, right? I don't necessarily see myself as an e-celeb, right? That my intention was never to be famous on YouTube or anything like that at all. Despite going on to somewhat different shows. I mean, the recent one, for example, was Red Ice TV with Millennial Woes, and I even see him in the chat, No Chance. Which, again, it wasn't a case of I went to Henrik or Lana or whatever and just being like, hey, can I be on your show? Because I was not that I would ever do that, but even if I were to do that, I would just picture it right now. The both of them would just be like, who the fuck are you? Like, fuck off. Because look, I'm not like well, in my opinion, right, I'm not like a Mark Collett, Millennial Woes, I'm not Count Dankula or anything like that at all. I think if I were to categorize myself like in terms of the celebrity, whatever you want to call it, I would probably put myself maybe somewhat either a C-list or a D-list type of e-celeb, or even just like an E-list celebrity. Nobody knows who I am, and you know what? That's completely fine with me. I'm not that bothered. I've never intended to get famous or anything like that at all. I'm just a guy who just goes on the internet from time to time and just speak my mind out on certain things. And if people like it, then great, awesome. I mean, there's 19 people watching, which I know from the a lot of these streamers' perspective, that's like really low numbers. But you know what? That's fine with me. I'm completely fine with that. It doesn't. I'm not gonna get offended. Sorry, 1 minute. I need to drink some. Right, that should be it. I'm not gonna. It's just I just honestly couldn't believe that. To be honest, I think your wallpaper is a bigger e-celeb. Yeah, probably. You know what? I'm sure there's more people know what this wallpaper is than they know with me. I'm surprised there hasn't really been a meme of that. In fact, I'm actually going to do a meme of that, actually. Just again, showcase that. That would be pretty funny. But yeah, my intention was it was not to be. In fact, I would even say people like Woodlander is a bigger name than, say, me. Like, when it comes to the whole e-celeb sphere or whatever you want to call it, but No Chance is probably a bigger name than me, and you know what? That's fine with me, and I'm happy for them when it comes to that more people watch their content and enjoy their content, and that's fantastic. The more people watch their stuff, then it gets them to either engage or even fully be embraced with the nationalist community. I don't know, but for me, when it comes to this whole thing, it was more like a hobby when it comes to it, right? I mean, I've done 214 episodes, which I don't understand how that is the case. I mean, I know Sai and that tried to do their whole shtick with Home Talk, but, it lasted only 21 episodes. And the only reason for that is because nobody fucking watched it. But anyway, I mean, I must be doing something right, I guess, when it comes to that. But anyways, so, yeah. And you know what? It's actually interesting. There was one thing I forgot to mention when it comes to, sorry, 1 second from No Chance. I think we need to unify, not bicker or have a go at each other. Steve is the biggest remigration advocate in the country, so it makes sense him being there. That's fair enough. And that's completely fair. And you know what? Look, I completely agree with this notion of unity and whatnot. The problem here is that, in my opinion, again, there's way too many people in this movement who I think let their egos get in the way of proper unity. And I'm sorry, but again, this is just coming from my perspective, from what I've seen and heard from the Homeland Party. What I've seen and what I've heard from them, not only has it been absolutely embarrassing, but it's been absolutely disgusting. And I have seen a couple of their speeches where they talk about unity, this and that. Despite the fact what they've done and said during the split and all of that, I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna buy a single word from it. And this is not because I'm with PA or anything like that at all. If I was with another group, or even just being independent, I would still have these types of opinions. I do agree with the idea that we need to unify, but the problem is there's just way too many people with a massive fucking egos. And I may have mentioned this on the show before, but egotism is the fucking cancer of this movement. I mean, is there maybe an example? Again, without trying to stir up drama or anything like that at all, but because again, I know there's going to be people that might watch this and might take offense or whatnot, but look, I'm just speaking truth to power here, or I'm just speaking the whole truth here. You know, people can accept it, people can not accept it, and people can disagree, and that's completely fine. I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, you're just a fucking idiot, like you're just a troll, you're just a fucking hater. I'm not gonna be like that, you know, honestly. But yeah, so, and oh, sorry, get back to my story of the day of the split that happened, right? When the whole actually before the split happened, I remember I got a message from Laura of all people, and she wrote something along the lines of, "Hi, Chief. I hope you're doing well. I just want you to know that if you decide to leave, then you know that's completely fine. You know, hope we can." You know, stay in contact with each other, and we can still work with each other. You know, when it comes to the overall nationalist movement. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to that effect. And I remember looking at this message, and this was a Telegram message. I remember looking at this at the time and thought, "Well, that's a bit bizarre," but I was like, "Cool," but I'm not leaving anytime soon. I'm gonna be staying here for as long as I possibly can, and that's true. I mean, it's been a year and a half later, and I'm still not leaving anytime soon. I'm still going to be with PA. I just remember at the time thinking, like, well, that was really fucking weird. And then, of course, that's when I saw the resignation letters from both Cy and Kenny Smith at the time. And I'll be honest, right? And this is something that really pissed me off with Cy when he said that about me caring about being in Isola more than my comrades. What happened on that day with the split? It fucking broke my heart. It really did broke my heart, because I believed when it was all happening, and when the majority of them moved over from PA to Homeland, I kind of felt like that was it for PA Scotland. I thought, well, that's it, done and dusted. And even though I was one of the people that stayed behind because I wanted to, I did believe that I genuinely lost something. And it's a shame too, because again, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself here over and over again, but despite everything said and done, I still do cherish the best moments when I was out leafleting with them, or banner drops with them, or even just like hanging out with them, day by day. Like, one of the best days I can remember is when some of us, not all of us, but some of us got together at one of the members' house. Not going to mention any names, obviously, because for privacy's sake, but we went over to his house for doing some PA fitness stuff, barbecue afterwards, and just like after that, just sitting down and just chilling out. And it was fantastic. I mean, despite the fact that I got the wrong train back home. Well, it's not it was a wrong train, but it just went straight from the place we were at to Glasgow, and I had to take a taxi from Glasgow back to where I lived. But despite that, it was great. It was fantastic stuff. And that whole split, man, like, it really did broke my heart. It really did just broke my heart after that. And I really was trying to be cordial and friendly with them after everything that happened. But with that post that was made for for PA Telegram page about the Erskine demonstration, it really just goes to show to me that stop being well, I'm not being gay. I'm sorry, all right. I'm not Jerome, all right. but in all seriousness, right? When it comes to that, fuck, I lost my train of thought again. I mean, it was definitely sad when that whole thing happened. It really was. But actually, maybe I'll save this part for later on, because even though I've already talked about this, but I definitely want to do a speech about nationalism, or at least the current state of where it is at just now. Whether or not, if Mark or Laura were to ask me to do a speech for the future PA conference, I mean, that's entirely up to them if they want me to give a speech and whatnot. I'd be happy to, but it depends on them if they want me to do a speech. And even then, if they do ask me to do a speech, I have a perfect idea on what speech that's going to be. And like I said, it's going to be more about the current state of nationalism and why it is definitely important to get together and actually unify and just drop the fucking egos, man, because that's definitely what's killing this overall movement. And I'll even be honest with this part here, and probably something people might not want to hear, but because of everything that's happened, and because of people splintering off because they think they're the real deal, whatnot, I almost walked away from the nationalist scene. I did. I genuinely almost walked away from it because it was just beyond ridiculous. It was beyond pathetic, even that there's people who are willing to just burn all the bridges, be the most vicious people these are coming from people who I thought were this type of person, but then that whole split, or even just like other splits, they just really showcase their true colors, and it was just like unbelievable. And I know I keep saying this, but egotism is a massive fucking cancer in this movement, and I'm just sick to the back teeth of it. You know, our people are suffering as it is, and there's people that genuinely get so upset about a post with certain photographs taken at a certain demonstration. And again, these are supposed to be the big serious political party. Well, I think there's an old saying, folks, and that is actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. But yeah, I think I'll move on from there, and let's see. You can't get depressed about it. This is just the way it is. And nationalism, it's been like this forever. Yeah, I get that, Joe, and it's a very valid point. But you know, I think there comes a point where people need to kind of, I'm sure maybe this happened as well, but there has to come a point where, you know, people just get on with what you're doing and don't worry about it. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I was going to make a point about, like, don't you think that there'll be people maybe just like, you know what, like, we need to get on with this. We can't pick it on. I'm sure many people in the movement already have done that, but again, you just can't. It just can't be helped. But yeah. So, time is at 7 minutes past 7. I did say to myself I was going to do the show for about an hour because, look, as I said earlier on, I don't really have anything else to talk about, and maybe I will save that for the next episode. But it was the reason I wanted to kind of talk about this is because, look, I genuinely do wanted their conference to be a success. And I again, just from what I've seen and from what I've heard, I really hope that the lads over the Homeland Party are not going to get fucked over by this, because there were photographs and videos taken of the people part of the conference, and I just hope everything works well for them. I really hope nothing happens when it comes to that. And I think after what I've seen, again, just my opinion, it's a prime example of what not to do in terms of advertising your nationalist event or whatnot. Definitely not. But that's just my opinion when it comes to that. So that's the official Salam Moody's wallpaper ID there. Dear. So yeah, folks, I did say to myself I was going to do the show for about an hour, so might as well end it there. I hope it wasn't too much of a downer, or maybe I'll be honest, right? I was a little bit kind of hesitant to kind of do the show because I knew this was going to be the episode that might spark some drama. But look, this is something that's been kind of building up inside me for about a year and a half. And I just kind of felt like I had to kind of express it in a way that in the most cordial way as I possibly can. But I hope it wasn't too much of a downer, or maybe too much of a, I don't want to say, like what word, like bitchy type of thing or anything like that at all. I'm just like speaking from from honesty when it comes to stuff like that. People can agree with it. People can disagree with it. People can take it or leave it, that type of thing. So, and yeah, so that's that's going to be the end for tonight's show when it comes to that. So, saying that, I should be back for next week on Mood of the Nation. It was a told, oh, God damn it, God, Joe, no. So when it comes to Mood of the Nation, I definitely should be back next week. What I'm actually going to try and do now is I'm going to try and see if I can maybe post an update about this in advance. So say maybe like a few days before the show actually goes live when it comes to it. So yeah. So I should be back next week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I'll definitely double check on that and get back to you guys on that in this case. Just before I leave as well, I'm going to see if I can actually find an outro. Wait, it's episode 214. This would be the last time, actually, that I would actually use this song. Wait a minute. And then afterwards, it would just be like regular different songs and whatnot. But I'm going to see if I can actually find it. Oh, no, wait. Oh, God, I'm such an idiot. Because I should realize by now that nothing ever changes, springs to mind. Somber Mood of the Nation. I mean, look, it's just being honest when it comes to that, right? But I will say this, right? Well, definitely. Oh, 1 second from Joe. Can you show my stream Sunday at 5 p.m.? Well, there you go, folks. It looks like Joe is going to be streaming again this coming Sunday. It's this Sunday, yeah? Sunday, which would be the 6th? Yeah, Sunday the 6th of October, and that's going to be at 5 p.m. So, folks, if you're looking for any streams to watch on a Sunday, and I'm sure Mark and Co will be back for their regular programming. Thank you very much, Streaky Bacon, for the Buy Me a Coffee donation. I actually forgot about the donation links and all of that, but yeah, thank you very much, Streaky Bacon, for your kind generosity. But yeah, so Mark and Co will be live at 7 p.m. I'm sure this coming Sunday, which I think it would be the Nationalist A team. But prior to that, Joe will be live on his YouTube at 5 p.m. this coming Sunday. So 2 streams to watch on that same day. So there we go. Now, I know people in the chat have seen like somber and all that, but look, I'll say this right for the record. Damn it, I keep losing track of when I'm about to say and stuff. I definitely would say that it's important to unify when it comes to it. And I know there's the old saying when it comes to this movement, don't punch right, you never punch right, blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm sorry, but there comes a point where if there's something in the movement you don't like or think it's not right or anything like that at all, you have to call out for what it is, in my opinion, with that. So that's exactly what I was doing. And we need to really drop the egos at this point because, as I said, people are suffering as it is, and yet there's just people tend to care more about, first world problems and all of that, and it's beyond pathetic at this point. We really need to get our act together and actually start, working with each other, the movement. I definitely do agree with that idea. With that, folks, that's going to be the end of tonight's episode. I hope everyone has enjoyed, and I wouldn't be surprised that it's going to maybe. Maybe not, but I wouldn't be surprised if I get some kind of notifications on Telegram, like, people are not angry or people are pretty pissed off, Chief. I'm like, oh, here we go. I mean, maybe not. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll wait and see when it comes to that. Yes, so Lego your ego. But yes, thank you all very much for watching. I should be back next week. I'll again post something on Telegram and even on X for again, just to let you guys know in advance. So I should be back for episode 215, and that's where that is where we'll be going back to the regular talking about current events and whatnot and all of that. So in terms of future guests on the show, I never really had that much of a thought, but we'll see. We'll definitely see if there's anyone in particular I would like to have on the show. So, but yeah, definitely watch the space. I'll say watch the space when it comes to that. Anyways, that's going to be the end of tonight. Thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, enjoy your weekend when it comes up, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you all, and good night. Take care.